Hello. Okay, guys, just give me a thumbs up. The voice is clear now. I hope the voice is clear right now. So just put a message. We'll start the class. Sorry for the delay. Yes, thank you, Vaishnavi, for confirming, and sorry for the delay with this technical aspect. Yes. Now, we'll not waste much of the time now, and without wasting much of the time, let us move on with the classes. So today's topic is broad spectrum antimicrobials. So we'll be discussing in this topic the broad spectrum antimicrobials. Now, before starting that, I just want to introduce a case here. Now, the case will be this. A 36-year-old female patient came with running nose and headache from last 7 days. She comes to fever clinic with the difficulty in breathing. Her saturation is 94%, and you can see that her pulse rate and temperature is high, and the BP is normal. Investigation of patient revealed RT-PCR confirmed COVID-19. She was given doxycycline, ivermectin, paracetamol, zinc, vitamin D, and C. Now, this you are seeing in the news channel as well as you are seeing in your relatives. All of them know the treatment for COVID-19 now. My question for all of you is why the doxycycline was given here? What was the reason? The virus. Now, waiting for your answers, guys. Just tell me why the doxycycline was given in COVID-19. So I'll be very happy if you are answering this. Yes, come on. So this is a live class. So just interact. Otherwise, it will be boring. So read this. This is typical of COVID-19 history. Now, why the doxycycline was given? Even if you are wrong, don't worry. Just message me. What was the reason why this doxycycline was used every day in the news channel? Even the Baba Ramdev started telling doxycycline doesn't work, ivermectin doesn't work. Now, what was the reason why doxycycline was given in COVID-19? Yes, come on. Nobody wants to message. Okay. Now, the doxycycline is antibiotic, which belongs to a group of drugs called antimicrobials, which are coming under a topic called broad spectrum antimicrobials. So they come under broad spectrum antimicrobials. Now, let me start with this slide. Yes. Now we have protein synthesis inhibitors. Before understanding this is very, very important how the drug works, how an antimicrobial works. First, we have to understand the target. Now, you understand that DNA is the one which will give us to RNA. From RNA, what we get is the protein. Same thing occurs in the bacteria also. Bacteria also have this same mechanism. Now, our DNA is the one which will give us to the mRNA, and that is done by an enzyme called RNA polymerase. Now, this RNA is the one which will give us to protein. Now, how does protein synthesis occur? We will come to that later. Now, this RNA polymerase is responsible for synthesizing mRNA. Now, this line, what I have written is the messenger RNA. This is the one which we have written, sorry. Now, this has two important ribosomes. You can see here, 50S and 30S ribosome. And the ribosomal RNA is sitting on the messenger RNA. And you come this side, we have two 50S and 30S. And there is a tRNA, that is transport RNA, which is coming and sitting on the A side. So first and foremost, the tRNA has to be coming to the place that is A side, and the point is tRNA attachment. And after that, there will be formation of peptide bond, and third one will be translocation. Now, like this, the peptide bond gets formed, and you will get a protein. So for tRNA also, there is an enzyme called tRNA synthetase that is required for synthesizing this. Now, how do I stop this protein synthesis? Why does a bacteria require protein? The bacteria require protein so that it can multiply faster. Now, because you know that everything inside the bacteria requires protein. So then the scientists thought, let us block these steps. So the first step they blocked is you come up the top side, there is RNA polymerase, and that is inhibited by a drug called fidaxomicin and rifampicin. Fidaxomicin is used for pseudomembranous colitis, and rifampicin is for tuberculosis. We'll learn that later. Now, tRNA synthetase is also inhibited by a drug called mupirocin, and that is drug of choice for nasal carriers of MRSA. So MRSA stands for methicillin resistant Staph aureus. Right. Now, what is a protein synthesis inhibitor? Now, whatever we have written below, they come under protein synthesis inhibitor. Now, how do I stop that? One is I can stop the tRNA attachment. Second, I can stop peptide bond formation. Third, what I can do is I can stop the translocation. And fourth one, I can stop the initiation of protein synthesis. So the tRNA attachment is blocked by, you read one, tetracycline. Remember tRNA for T. Tetracycline inhibits tRNA attachment. Second one is chloramphenicol. Remember phenicol, fevicol. Phenicol looks like fevicol. And you know that fevicol is required for bond formation. So chloramphenicol stop. Okay, so you're fine with that. So if you solve more and more MCQs, you will get a PG seat. So puromutolins, that is called retapamulin, which is used topical for skin and soft tissue infections. Now, moving on to the 50s and 30s, the initiation is blocked by a group of drugs called aminoglycosides, linezolide, and spectramycin. It belongs to a group called aminocyclitol. Now, this is what we call by protein synthesis inhibitors. So please have a look at this. Now, why did I give this RNA polymerase and tRNA synthetase? Just to give you a concept, what are the drugs which target this? But what are protein synthesis inhibitors are these things, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can remember this. This is a very important image, which will give you all the mechanism of action of these drugs. So in total, these are all protein synthesis inhibitors. Now moving on to the next slide. Now, what are the specialities of protein synthesis inhibitors is the one thing that will be confusing. All protein synthesis inhibitors are bacteriostatic. Listen guys, all protein synthesis are bacteriostatic except aminoglycosides and streptogramins. Now, what is streptogramins? It's a combination of vinpristin and alpha-pristin. Now, all of the drug bind to 50S, but only 2 drugs bind to 30S. You can see in this previous, there are 30S ribosome and 50S ribosome. So 30S ribosome, tetracycline bind and aminoglycoside bind. So how do you remember for long term? Remember 30S, remember as TEAM, TEAM. TE stands for tetracycline, AM for aminoglycoside, and rest all of them will bind 50S. Now, chloramphenicol and tetracycline are called broad spectrum. They are not wide, they are mainly broad spectrum. Tetracycline inhibit tRNA attachment, what I told you, and macrolides, lincosamides, streptogramins inhibit translocation. Now, what is the mechanism of resistance? Or mainly the macrolide, lincosamide, and streptogramins is altering the target. How do they alter the target? They methylate 50S ribosome. Now, the topic of discussion is mainly broad spectrum antibiotics. To understand broad spectrum Now, coming back to the broad spectrum antibiotics, I told you we have two important ones here. Now, the drug is called tetracycline. Why the name? Okay, so extremely sorry for this interruption. Here also there is fluctuation of power. So I don't know whether the recording should be done or should we do this live classes because of the declarer. Now, primarily, I told you what is the mechanism of action. These drugs, they are protein synthesis inhibitors. So that is the point you have to remember. Now, there is a process of energy dependent active transport. And because of that, in gram-positive bacteria, when you give tetracycline, they enter inside. And in case of gram-negative, there is a channel called porine channels through which they enter inside. Now, they went to 30S subunit. They interfere with the attachment of amino acid tRNA. That is what I told you. It is the tRNA attachment inhibitor to the mRNA ribosome complex. So that is inhibited. Now, antibacterial spectrum, it is called broad spectrum. Why it is called broad spectrum? It acts on positive and negative cocci, except Streptococcus pyogenes, aureus, and enterococci. It also acts on gram-positive bacilli such as Clostridia, Listeria monocytogenes, Corynebacterium, and also Bacillus anthracis. So these are the things which will act on this. And also in gram-negative. Now, I'm not going to enumerate all these things because if I tell all these things, and you will not be able to follow all these bacteria. Remember, it is a broad spectrum. That means it will cover gram-positive, gram-negative thing. Now, coming on to this, so these are other things. Spirochetes, Rickettsia, Chlamydia, Mycoplasma, Actinomyces, Entamoeba, even the parasites are covered by this. Now, why it is not effective? This is very important. Pseudomonas aeruginosa, it will not work. Proteus, Klebsiella, Salmonella, Bacteria fragilis. Now, these are all gram-negative. Now, will it work on the virus or fungi? No. Doxycycline or tetracycline, they don't have any activity on virus or fungi. Then why are we still using it for COVID-19 if they don't work on virus and fungi? We'll find out. So it has nothing to do with the virus. Now, why are we using it? Yes. Now, what is the resistance mechanism? How the drug will become resistant? You know that there are 4 mechanisms. Either the drug will not enter inside, or if it enters, it will be thrown out. Third one is that target will get altered. So here, the resistance is mainly plasmid mediated. Mechanisms are because of decreased accumulation and decreased antibiotic influx. That means the drug is actively effluxed out. A ribosomal protection protein is the one that displaces tetracyclines from its target. So alteration of target and enzyme inactivation is very least with tetracycline, very least. So resistant issue. Now, what is the problem? We are not using these tetracyclines very commonly is because they have acquired resistance to so many bacteria. So many bacteria doesn't work with this tetracycline. Then why we are using this? Now, pharmacokinetically, we can give it orally. It is absorbed. It is better to take it on empty stomach. But doxy and minocycline has nothing to do with food. So that's why these are better drugs compared to the older tetracyclines. Now, all the tetracyclines are derived from bacteria, but doxy and minocycline are semi-synthetic. What do you mean by semi-synthetic? We take the natural antibiotic and we alter that in the lab. So that is called semi-synthetic. Now, what is the reason why don't we use tetracyclines with food? Because these tetracyclines, they form insoluble complexes with calcium. Raghavendra, you can switch off your this thing, camera. Form insoluble complexes with calcium and other metals. So that's the reason do not consume dairy products like milk, iron preparation, sucralfate, and antacids. The reason is these form complex with tetracycline. If they form complex with tetracycline, what is the problem? When the patient takes tetracycline, along with that, he takes milk. So there is calcium in the milk, tetracycline will form a complex, and tetracycline doesn't get absorbed. So this is very, very important point you have to tell to the patient. Now, when the patient is taking this tetracycline and he drinks milk, the problem is that tetracycline doesn't get absorbed. But is there a problem with doxy and minocycline? That is not there. So they don't have anything to do with the food interaction. You can take it with milk, now no problem. But tetracyclines is very, very important. So coming onto the pharmacokinetics, most of them are excreted in urine, but the specialty is doxycycline. Now, doxycycline is eliminated by bile. If it is eliminated by bile, the reason why should I understand this is this doxycycline is safe in renal failure. Now, why it is safe in renal failure? Even though the problem is there, the drug will go in the bile. Kidney, even if it is spilled, no problem. So the drug will not accumulate, it will go in the liver. Now, if you give it the enzyme inducer, they reduce the T-half. They are secreted in milk amount sufficient to affect suckling infant. So lactating women should be stopped. How do we give this drug? Oral. It is available as capsule and tablets. You know that everybody took this capsule of doxycycline. No liquid formulation is available for this. Can we give it IM? If you give IM, it's highly painful. So absorption from the intramuscular site is very, very low. Poor absorption is seen with this. So that's the reason you have to give it oral. Topical, there is risk of sensitization, and eye drops can be used. So please remember, you should not use these preparations intramuscular. Even topical preparations are not used because they can increase the risk of sensitization. Now, please remember, there is a 3 marks question which they ask in the university. What is the difference between doxycycline and other group of tetracyclines? Doxycycline, the advantage is when we give it, it is completely absorbed, and you can take it with food, without food, no problem. So the absorption is not affected, but other tetracyclines, the absorption is not good completely. That is not complete, and the food interferes with absorption. The half-life of doxycycline is very long. You can see 18 to 24 hours. So you can give once daily. And other tetracycline, it's very short. Frequency, that's what I told you, once daily, and this is BAD. Elimination bile, so safe in renal failure, but here they are eliminated kidney. So that's why you have to reduce the dose and give it in renal failure. Alteration of intestinal flora is least. Why it is least in doxycycline? I told you doxycycline gets completely absorbed in the intestine. So very less come to the large intestine and destroy the bacteria, that is intestinal flora. But other tetracyclines, they will not be absorbed completely. Some of them will come to the intestine, large intestine, and destroy the intestinal flora. Incidence of diarrhea is low. Yes, if you destroy our own normal flora, diarrhea will be more. That's the reason doxy is very low. Phototoxicity is high with doxy, and it is low with other drugs. So remember, doxycycline causes phototoxicity. What is phototoxicity? The phototoxicity means it will cause lesion. So if you go in the sun after taking doxycycline, you will have rashes on the skin. You will have pruritus. So that's the reason when the doxycycline was prescribed, so for so many patients, they have complained that, sir, we are itching, they have lesions. So tell them, don't go out in the sunlight. If they go out, at least let them use the umbrella or let them use sunscreen. So because of phototoxicity. So these are the things you have to tell them. So until now, you understood what is tetracycline, what is their mechanism of action, they inhibit protein synthesis, what is their resistance, what is their spectrum, and there's a difference between doxy and other groups. This is the 3 marks question they will ask in the university. Now, what are the uses of tetracycline? Now, tetracycline have increased resistance nowadays, so they are only used for some of the rare infections. For example, rickettsia, you don't see every day in your practice. Okay, so again, we are into the technical aspect. Sorry for that. And that's the reason, because of increased resistance, we are not able to use this properly. The doxycycline is used for treatment of respiratory infection. It will cover atypical organism, that is, respiratory pathogens are incredibly resistant to other drug classes. So that's the reason why we use it in COVID-19, not because to kill the virus, to treat the other bacterial infection which is going to cause pneumonia. You know that death in COVID-19 is because of viral pneumonia, and there will be secondary bacterial infections, and particularly atypical bacteria such as mycoplasma and chlamydia are going to cause this. That's why the doxycycline was used. Now, where to use this doxycycline? Because we are telling that it's a broad spectrum antimicrobial. Now, you can see many users, rickettsial infections, mycoplasma, chlamydia, cholera, relapsing fever. So many is there in the slide, but how much do you remember for your exam? If I tell all those things, only thing is you will listen and you will forget. So what we have done is, we have made a mnemonic for that to remember the users. Now you read this bacteria in the micro, right? So then you correlate with this topic. Otherwise, what happens if I tell what is rickettsia, what is those things, you will not be able to remember. So the purpose of a class is to tell you how to memorize these things and how to understand the concept. The use of tetracyclines, remember by mnemonic, large player. So it is the large player, Marshall, Bowles, correctlet stumps. So L for leptospirosis, leprosy, listeriosis, and lymphogranulin. And many times your micro has not been covered, but remember the mnemonic is very, very important for your exam, because uses of tetracycline is a 5 marks question. It is also used for atypical pneumonia and anthrax, rickettsial infections, granuloma inguinal, and entamoeba histolytica. Apart from that, it is used in player, that is plague and pylori, that is H. pylori infection, Marshall for malaria, Bowles, borreliosis, Bartonella brucellosis, correctly cholera, chlamydia, acne, stumps, syphilis, SIADH. So these are the uses of tetracycline. That's why it is called a broad spectrum antimicrobial. Now, why don't we use every day? Because it covers all the bacteria to give this to every infection. It's not possible, because the reason is if you use for every infection, it will acquire resistance. So that's the reason it has to be used carefully for certain infections. Now, if I use this drug also, the problem is adverse effect. What is the adverse effect? So there are so many things. I am not going to show you to all. I will show you the effect on the teeth. Now, if you're using this is what happens. It will cause permanent brown discoloration of teeth. Larger the dose, more intense enamel discoloration. You can see here left side, the white teeth, and then there is teeth damage here. Now, if you see the other problem, it can also cause renal toxicity, hepatotoxicity, and also it causes GAT upset, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Your favorite, you will write that. Photosensitivity, I told you, if you go to the sun, it will be, patient will have rashes. And last line, you can see it will cause anycholysis and pigmentation of the nails. That is also seen with this. Now, moving on to the miscellaneous, if you give this IV, if they use this drug IV, sometimes there may be thrombophlebitis, and also because it can adhere the tissues. It is used therapeutically in malignant pleural effusions where drug instilled in the pleural space, that is to attach this pleuras in case of malignancies. And also if you use this drug, it can increase intracranial pressure, and minocycline can cause vestibular toxicity, that is the vestibule which is responsible for maintaining the balance. Now, how to remember this? Now remember, the ADRs can be remembered by the mnemonic Kapil Dev. So if Marshall bowls, who will bat? Kapil Dev bats. So that's the reason the mnemonic will help you in the exam. Now, K for kidney damage. Now, if you use tetracycline, they mainly damage the proximal conjunctival, because tetracycline, what they produce is anhydrotetracycline and epi-anhydrous tetracycline. They are toxic to the kidneys. And if they are toxic to the kidney, they can increase the urea level. So that's why they can cause kidney damage. Second, A for allergy. So most of the antimicrobials, one common adverse effect you write in the exam is allergy. All of them cause allergy, particularly antimicrobials. And it has anti-anabolic effect. That means it causes negative nitrogen balance, and also it increases urea. Photosensitivity, which you already know, it causes insipidus diabetes. It is nothing but diabetes insipidus. That means it inhibits the action of ADH, particularly that is seen with hemiplocycline, because liver toxicity, damages to the teeth. Damage is seen to the teeth. That's what the growing teeth cannot be properly growing, and it will cause discoloration of the teeth. Now, if you are using expired tetracycline, what do you mean by expired tetracycline? The date of expiry has been done. That means the drug has expired, What do you mean by that? It is dead? No, it is the meaning is it has lost the efficacy. So if you use this drug, it can cause Fanconi syndrome and rage intracranial tension. It can cause vestibular toxicity and bone damage. Now, can we use it in the children? Now, we are not going to use it in children less than 8 years because the bone and teeth development will be affected. Now, can we use it in a pregnant woman? No, because if it give it to a pregnant woman, it will go to the placenta, and from the placenta it goes to the fetus, and there also it affects the growing teeth and bone. So that's why it is contraindicated in the pregnant as well as in children, even in lactating women. So this is a 3 marks question that is asked in your university exams. So this is the thing you have to remember for your exam. Kapil Dev bats. So this is the adverse effect you have to remember. So what is the take-home message? What are the warnings? Do not administer them during pregnancy and lactation. You know the reason, because they can cause bone and teeth damage. Do not use for the treatment of common infection in children younger than 8 years. Same thing, bone and teeth. Discard unused supplies of these antibiotics because expired tetracycline can cause pseudotumor, cerebri, and Fanconi anemia or Fanconi syndrome. Avoid use inpatient diuretics because they can raise blood urea and they can cause toxicity to the kidney. Use with caution in renal or hepatic insufficiency because they cause more renal toxicity and hepatotoxicity. But in hepatotoxicity, one drug that can use is doxycycline, not hepatotoxicity. Renal toxicity, one drug that can use is doxycycline because doxycycline goes in the bile. It is mainly eliminated in bile. Never mix it tetracycline with penicillin because if you mix them in the single syringe, there will be inactivation. Even if you give the drug, they will not work. Never inject tetracycline intrathecally. What do you mean by intrathecally? Into the spinal cord, and never into the intramuscular because it is very, very painful. IM injections are very, very painful. Are they available? Doxy is available IV? Yes. Minocycline IV? Yes, it is available. Now, coming to one more group of drug, glycyl cyclines. And the drug is called tigecycline, and it's a derivative of minocycline. Now, why did the scientist come with this? The scientist came with this because the doxycycline, when it entered the bacteria used to throw that out. There's a mechanism of resistance. Now, what they did, they synthesized a drug called tigecycline. Now, the advantage of tigecycline is it will enter into the bacteria which was throwing out. So now it can work on those bacteria. Now, this antibiotic is called tigecycline, that much you remember. Now, it is effective against tetracycline resistant bacteria. So it has broad spectrum. It is mainly used for MRSA and vancomycin resistant Staph aureus. Now, remember, it is used for community acquired pneumonia. Community acquired pneumonia. What do you mean by community acquired pneumonia? It is acquired in community. That is, your COVID-19 is a community acquired pneumonia. So you go somewhere, you have to contract a virus or bacteria from someone with cough, that is called community acquired pneumonia. Now, what is hospital acquired pneumonia? You go to the hospital, from there, you get admitted for some other disease, you get pneumonia from there. There is also something called ventilator associated pneumonia. That is when you put the patient on ventilator, the infection can occur from that also. So for those, it is not effective. It is only for community acquired pneumonia. Now, can we use tigecycline in UTI, urinary tract infection? Now, remember, tigecycline is also eliminated in the bile. It will not achieve adequate concentration in the urine. So that's the reason you cannot use it in UTI. You cannot use tigecycline UTI. So please remember this point. Tigecycline cannot be used in urinary tract infection. Now you can use it only IV because the absorption from GIT is not good. Tissue penetration is excellent. Biliary elimination, so safe in renal failure. So 2 drugs are safe in renal failure. Remember, one is tigecycline and one more is doxycycline. It is FDA approved for skin and structure infection and also intraabdominal infections, right? And also for community acquired pneumonia. Now, this is about the tetracycline and tigecycline group of drug. Chloramphenicol. It is also a broad spectrum antimicrobial. What is the mechanism of action, guys? It is protein synthesis inhibitor. That is the first point you have to remember. Second, in protein synthesis, what is the step it will block? It blocks the peptide bond formation. You remember phenicol as fevicol. So it inhibits peptide bond formation. Now it is mainly bacteriostatic. I told you only two are bactericidal protein synthesis. One is amyloglycoside and one is streptogramins. Now they go into the bacteria by facilitated diffusion. They bind 50S and interfere with the peptide bond formation. You know this simply. We will not explain that further. So this is the same diagram which is telling you where it acts 50S and inhibit peptide bond formation. Broad spectrum, same as tetracycline, but nowadays we are not using chloramphenicol. Now, what is the reason, guys? The reason is When they came to the market in the 60s or 70s, 1960 or 70s, extensively it was used for typhoid. Chloramphenicol means typhoid. Typhoid means enteric fever. So for that it was used. Now it has become resistant to so many bacteria, so it's not working. But why are we still studying? Because we can use these antibiotics. Sometimes some bacteria may be sensitive for us. Now the users. So coming to the users, we are not worried about pharmacokinetics. We are not worried about resistance mechanism. It is mainly by the inactivating enzyme, that is by acetyltransferase. So when the bacteria will produce this inactivating enzyme, it will come and cut the ring. Now moving on to the pharmacokinetics, mainly this undergoes a conjugation called glucuronide conjugation and excreted in urine, and does not need to be altered in renal sufficiency because it is eliminated by bile and some part excreted in urine. Now, newborns and premature infants do not clear drug very well. This is very, very important. Now, if you are using in newborns and premature infants, the drug has to be eliminated by the metabolism in the liver. And you know that a newborn and a premature don't have that proper liver development. That means the enzymes are not sufficient. So when we give to a newborn or premature, the glucuronidation conjugation doesn't occur properly. And because of that, the chloramphenicol accumulates, and that will cause a syndrome called gray baby syndrome. So they will have gray baby syndrome. That's why we avoid in newborns and premature infants. Now moving on to the uses, it is used in typhoid fever. Nowadays, nobody prefers this because it has persistence. Bacterial meningitis, now we can use it. Rickettsial diseases, we can use it. Anaerobic infections, brucellosis, and even in intraocular infections, it comes as a tube. So we'll put an eye drop for intraocular infection, and also for external ear infections, it can be used. Now, adverse effect. This was a 3 marks question asked in last year. The adverse effect of chloramphenicol. All the drugs, remember hypersensitivity reaction in right. Your second favorite will be nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Third, it produces super infection because it's a broad spectrum antimicrobial. It can kill the intestinal flora, and that will cause secondary infection. Now, there is one important aspect that is called the bone marrow suppression. So it is 2 types. One is dose related and one is idiosyncratic. If you use high dose, obviously it will cause bone marrow suppression. You know that bone marrow suppression means the RBCs will not multiply, the leukocytes will not multiply, platelets will not multiply. So that's why we'll have anemia, leukopenia, thrombocytopenia. What do you mean by idiosyncratic reaction? Idiosyncratic reaction means, for example, if I give a sleeping tablet to a patient, he will sleep. That is normal. But if I give sleeping tablet to a patient, he will get excited. That is called idiosyncratic. That is abnormal, which is because of genetic makeup. Similarly, for a few people, if I give chloramphenicol, they will have aplastic anemia, which is very fatal. So patient may die with that also. And the last thing is gray baby syndrome. So it was asked for 3 marks question in university exam. Any of the 3 you can write, but write the specific one. One is gray baby syndrome, you'll get a marks. Second one is the bone marrow suppression and super infection, hypersensitivity reaction. So you have to mention this. Right. This is a 3 marks question. Now tetracycline and chloramphenicol are either 5 marks or 3 marks question. That's it. So what they ask the university, we'll see. Now we have ended up the class here. So I will summarize the class now. I will summarize the class. So we started with protein synthesis inhibitors. Protein synthesis inhibitors are going to inhibit a protein synthesis. So first is the tRNA attachment is blocked by tetracycline. Bond, this thing, chloramphenicol. MCQP is for translocation. Initiation is by amaloglycoside and flunarizole. Then we discussed broad spectrum antimicrobial, that is called tetracycline. Now tetracyclines are 3 categories based on the duration of action. The important ones are doxy and tetracyclines. Sorry, doxy and minocycline. Now, what is the difference between the tetracycline and doxycycline? Doxycycline is having complete absorption, so it will not cause diarrhea. It will not suppress this intestinal flora, and also it doesn't have anything to do with the food or milk or anything. But these tetracyclines are. Now, tetracycline should not be given with food, milk, antacids because it will form complex with the metals, and the absorption decreases. The one drug which can be used safely in renal failure is none other than one drug which can be used safely in renal failure is one is doxy and one is tigecycline. Where do you use this doxycycline or tetracycline? How do we use it? It is given oral, or it is given IV, or it is given as the It is also given as the not the IM preparation, because if you give IM, it will cause local irritation and painful. And second one is it should not be given intrathecal, and it should not be given as topical. Remember? So these are the things. Now moving on to the uses of this. I told you the mnemonic last player Marshall bowls correctly at stumps. So mainly we are using them for some of the bacteria such as chlamydia, mycoplasma, like this. And then we discussed the adverse effect, that is Kapil-Dev. So K for kidney damage, A for allergy, anti-anabolic effect, then P for photosensitivity, I for insipidus diabetes, L for liver toxicity, D for damage to the dentition, damage to the bone, right? E for expert tetracycline will cause pseudotumor cerebri, B for vestibular toxicity. Now we discussed chloramphenicol. Remember, it is also a broad spectrum antimicrobial. It inhibits peptide bond formation. It is used for meningitis. It was used previously for typhoid. Now it has acquired resistance. It is used as eye drop, ear drop, and also it can be used in case of meningitis, that is pyogenic meningitis and anaerobic infection. Now, coming to the adverse effect, it is going to cause gray baby syndrome because the babies don't have proper enzymes to metabolize it. So that will cause gray baby syndrome. It can cause bone marrow suppression. And third one is superinfection, and your favorite nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and hypersensitivity reaction. So these are the three last questions. Now, I have summarized this and I will ask you this question. So please answer this question, guys. These are the MCQs. Now, the university has decided the last 10, that means the last 10 marks will be MCQs. So you have to score 1 marks with that. There will be 10 MCQs in each paper of the university. Yes. Yes, come on. I think everybody are alert. So now you understood why do we use doxycycline. The reason why we use doxycycline COVID-19 was for preventing secondary bacterial infection. But the problem when you use it is the Kapil-Dev. That's the problem. Yes, what is the answer for this? Just take a guess. Yes, Vaishnavi, Bhuvana, very good. Mariam, yes. True about the side effects of tetracycline include all the following. Can cause pseudotumor cerebri, yes. Then not used, not teratogenic if you're pregnancy, no. It is a teratogenic drug, that's why you should not use it. Discoloration of teeth may occur, yes. Superinfection, yes, because it's a broad spectrum. Yes, Rishika, Anurag, you're all right. So let's move on to the next question. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so the question, tetracycline should not be administered IM because rapid inactivation of drug at site of infection, poor and local irritation, hypersensitivity reaction, causes bleeding at site of infection, formation of hematoma. Yes, come on. What's the answer? Yes, Bhuwana, right. Rachana, Vaishnavi, right. Yes. So already it is marked there. And yes, you're right. Chaya, Hima, Vanita. Only girls are answering. Where are the boys? Raghavendra. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Yes. So please answer this. So true about doxycycline is 90% Pseudomonas. Biopsy is same throughout, usually not used for UTI, requires dose adjustment in kidney failure. What is the right answer? Yes. So it's not only important to get a right answer in MCQ. Now, you read the other options. 90% Pseudomonas. No, remember tetracycline, they don't work on Pseudomonas. Viability. So they have given next item, that is viability. Same. It is not absorbed at all from the oral route. It is given IV. Usually not for UTI because it doesn't achieve the concentration in urine. Does require dose adjustment renal failure? No, it doesn't require because it is undergoing bile elimination. So one more drug which undergoes bile elimination is doxycycline. Now moving on to the next question, that is the university questions. So what are the university questions we expect here is adverse effect of tetracycline. If they give, you will write Kapil-Dev. Don't write Kapil-Dev and come back. So you should write all this Kapil-Dev, expand that and write. So that is the easiest way. So next question, 5 marks question is uses and adverse effect. So you will have a mnemonic for uses, you will have a mnemonic for The adversary, you will write that. List 3 advantages between doxy and tetracycline. At least 3. One is that you can comment on viability, you can comment on intestinal flora, you can comment on food interaction, you can comment on duration of action. So any 4 or 5 you can remember for that. Now any two first line users of tetracycline, remember they are for chlamydia and mycoplasma. For that they are first line. Now short answers, most of the questions will be reason type. Now why should not be tetracycline be administered with food? The reason is simple. Why we should not administer with food? The reason is tetracycline with the food, they form complexes, particularly with the milk, with the calcium, with the iron. So that's the reason. Explain drug interaction between tetracycline and aluminum hydroxide. Aluminum hydroxide is present in antacid, it will form complex with tetracycline. Mention any 3 adverse effect of tetracycline, Kapil Dev, anything you can add up. Doxycycline can be safely used in renal failure compared to other. Why? Because doxycycline gets eliminated in the bile, it gets excreted in the feces. So even if there is a renal failure, the doxycycline will not accumulate in the body because it is getting eliminated by the liver. Mention any 3 differences which we already covered between doxy and tetra. Explain why tetracyclines are contraindicated in pregnancy and children. What is the reason, guys? Because one is it will get deposited in the bone and it inhibits the bone formation. Second one is it gets complex with calcium and goes and sit on the growing teeth also, so that it will cause teeth discoloration. Mention any 3 adverse effect of chloramphenicol: gray baby syndrome, hypersensitivity, then bone marrow suppression, nausea, vomiting, superinfection. Why chloramphenicol avoided in infants? The reason is it causes gray baby syndrome. Why? There will be defective glucuronide conjugation because the infants don't have the enzymes properly in the beginning of their life. That means the liver is not properly developed. So that will lead to gray baby syndrome. That's why you should not use it. Okay, guys. So thank you for your patience listening, and any doubt, I am ready to take it up. And sorry for starting this class late. And I know that we will have technical errors in this. And yes, so any doubt? I know in between we had so much breaks because of the internet issues, because of the laptop, so many technical errors. Okay, so all you, I think you are doing fine. I think the lockdown is going to end up in another 4 or 5 days, or within 2-3 days it will end up. You know, it's very difficult to spend time in home, because in the beginning when you get a break, you will feel that you got a holiday, but spending time in the home, sitting there, ideally it's very difficult. Okay, guys. So any doubt, I'm happy to take up. So just give your feedback. Now, which one is better? Live class is better or the recorded class is better? So based on that, we can do in the future. Yes, Preeti, Vanita, Bhumika, Preetam, Raghavendra. So you need to understand for the concept clear. Now, if you read KD Tripathi, there are so many things given. Now, at the end of the day, you read that once, but after that, it's important what you reproduce in the end. That's the important point, right? This much notes will be enough for you to crack a university exam. That much is fine. Yes, live class are better. Yes, because that's the reason we took it today. VY. Just give me whether you understood the concept. So this is how we have to memorize pharmacology, because if you read everywhere, it's the drug, it's the mechanisms, it's the side effect. Now, at the end of the day, you will end up with a side effect only nausea, vomiting. So we don't want that. Okay, so at least message, at least a goodbye. So we'll take leave now. Thank you all. Have your food. I know you are all hungry and angry. So we'll end up the class. Thank you.